range you just talked about, but also the pick potential to come through. Now for PSG, we know that when you see Poppy, Tam with an Aphelios and Azir with a Nah playing in the mid side, it's so nice to see like this front to back coming through. PSG as they head onto the Rift. Nightstar, I was looking at an interview with Tarzan, LNG's jungler, the other day, and he thinks at the moment that this Poppy is one of the strongest jungle picks coming out in the current meta. Great early game presence, a lot of angles to play through for the ganks. So I'm kind of interested to watch Bury and what he can get done in this early game, because we did say that PSG's early game wasn't what we were really focusing on. It wasn't their biggest strength right now, as opposed to their team fights that are carrying them through.
Yeah, and yesterday we saw a little bit more out of him when it came to trying to help out these lanes, attack the lanes. He had the Xin Zhao pick and performed relatively well on it. It was just some of the mid-game calls, and especially trying to deal with the 1-4 pressure coming out from Taco's Jax that really threw the game into a lot of confusion for the side of PSG. However, this time around, it's going to be this Poppy holding a lot of power, because on the flip side, Ziggs not necessarily great at shoving the lane very early on into an Azir, who's going to have cheaper mana costs at shoving out, just throwing down Sand Soldiers and shoving out that way. So we'll see if this early priority is going to transition into a lot for the side of PSG.
Well, Bury, he starts on the bottom side. Again, tracking the jungler will help us understand that mid matchup a little bit more as well. At least for Alex, he has somewhat of a setup there, but you talked about it before. It is looking like it is going to be a bot game with Unified on his comfort pick, but even more importantly, Alex and Houston. The range here is going to be a bit annoying to play with, and I'm wondering if they can dominate this laning phase, because Unified and Kaiwing have been under speculation recently for their 2v2 not being as strong as maybe Spring.
And for the side of Impunity, you can see that they do have some intention on trying to dial in onto this bot half of the map, because they do have Alex starting top side, so he should be finishing towards that bot half. But Bury perhaps looking for an early play in this bot side. It would be very similar to, you know, a Volibear looking for a level 3 play, which is really where his sweet spot is. And Poppy, definitely the new age version of the Volibear pick, as Volibear just nerfed way too many times. And here we go, level 3. Do they actually find the angle though?
I mean, that innovative path coming through. The knock-up is going to make it a yes. Anax already flashing away, and Houston, will he burn his summoner? No, he knows he's a dead man. And Bury with first blood, piloting the Poppy just as we planned.
And you can see Impunity actually didn't expect that, because when he was on the Krugs, Alex was actually pinging towards the Raptor, so they thought he started up, or started pathing up top side, but Bury just goes straight to Krugs and comes down into the bot lane, and I mean, Houston's just way too far up, and it's just free food.
Nice setup. I mean, Tom Kench is something we're seeing more and more in the meta too. Even without the center. Beautiful little knock up there from Kaiwing, and the bottom lane, away it goes. I want to also point out that with Bury not burning a flash, but with Anax having his down, the potential for a repeat is there. Nightstar, even with Scuttle taken on the bottom side. We'll have to see what Bury does next, because this Poppy is already on the board with the first blood in hand, and has a full topside jungle to clear, with lanes in a pretty decent state to gank. Look at mid, look at bot, and look at the setup right now from the laners.
Yeah, really nice setup. Impunity do have a lot of ward coverage down in the bottom half. Apex doing pretty well in lane, and of course Gory hasn't really shined during the lane phase. Of course, he's had issues with that as well in LPL, right?
Oh, he sucked in FPX. I'll tell you what, that laning phase, the first 15 minutes, I am not afraid to say that Gory was one of our worst laners, Nightstar. And then he got to team fighting. It's like, dude, why can't you play like that all the time?
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, okay.
Ooh, okay. He's out of mana. He's out of mana.
Nah, yeah. And honestly, it's still held somewhat true here. He hasn't exactly shined in the lane phase, even in the PCS, but the difference is we don't have Rookie or Knight or any of those elite players that just, once they take an arm, they also take a leg. and then it's your other leg, and then it's your other arm, and then all of a sudden you just can't do much. However, we see that he isn't really one of those players that does the same to other players who shouldn't be in that same category as him.
I mean, I know exactly what you're saying, right? It's the PCS mid laners aren't as relentless. Maybe people like, maybe I'm thinking like the Mission and the rest. I know I'm talking about top lane as well, but yeah, I feel like there are very specific laners in this league who kind of have that LPL vibe to them as well. As Bury's invading now. We just saw him on a ward on the bottom side. He cleared it out. He's going to continue to invade, which means this will be a bit of a smite battle, but as Gromp resets and goes back, Bury is going to back all the way back as well. Just continuing putting pressure on the bottom side of the map, and because of it, you can see Impunity is slowly falling behind with the start of a 5 CS discrepancy.
Slowly but surely. But for the side of Impunity, the highlight really isn't going to be the lane phase of this composition, although in that bot lane, of course, with the double range, you want to get a little bit more out of the lane phase, but certainly once you hit level 6, that's where this composition definitely comes online. You have so much wombo potential. You have the Wukong ultimate to channel into the Ziggs ult, or start a pick off with that Ashe ult that might lead to something as well. So a lot of mid-game pressure coming in from Impunity. And for PSG, it's going to be very reliant on Bury being able to find good disengages. Of course, this Poppy pick just really, really powerful because of the changes to the ultimate. If he holds on to the ult and lets it expire in the channel, it allows him to reset, and the cooldown doesn't get reset that hard anymore.
Yeah, it's really nice. Like those quality of life changes make it feel like you're not punished for the attempted play and, fizzling out and disengaging. And further to your point, that ulti will be up and available soon as Bury goes for yet another invade. He's a bit of a nuisance right now in Alex's jungle as he spots him out. He's just going to walk on through, sees him in his Krugs, and backs once again. And I wanted to come back to a little bit more about the comp you're talking about for Impunity. It feels like a lot of big ult buttons to be used, a lot of burst, a lot of all-in with the semi-globals as well, mind you. Mega Inferno Bomb, Channeker's Arrow, Nightstar. There is a lot for Impunity to use tools, but as we talk about tools on the bottom side, one of them's going to be down with the Flash. Easily taken by Kai Wing, who gets an Abyssal Dive once again. I mean, Yusin, second time he's been caught out.
Yusin just playing really far forward. Wants to get a little bit more, but you can see that he's not quite on the same page as Anix, who's been very comfortable just saying, hey, I'm just going to throw out the W, I'll throw out the arrows, farm from range, I'm fine with this being somewhat uninteractive, and Yusin just kind of doesn't want to give up too much ground during this lane phase, and unfortunately has been punished because of it. Loses the flash, Bury then immediately transitions over to this dragon. That's a free take from them, and Gory even pathing towards the top half to really slow down Alex and perhaps deny him from really taking this Rift Herald, although he is we'll see if he continues to harass him.
Yeah, we'll see because it's on a ward. PSG have done a really good job in warding up this topside river, and as Bury's just taken the dragon, usually we see teams set up for the trade, set up for the cross map. Yusin's a little bit slow here. He's walking towards mid lane for now, but Kai Wing was here first. Gory has mid lane priority. The ward is still there from PSG, and Impunity have yet to pick up this Herald. They're just sitting right now for time, and it feels like right now PSG still have control of the map state as they finally walk on up after the top lane pushes out to get the objective they came for.
And for PSG, it wasn't really going to be reasonable denial of this Rift Herald because of Gory being low on that mana.
Almost. I value the attempt, honestly. Alex goes and Bury comes in with a flash to steal. A pixel too short. So Alex gets away with a Rift Herald, which is going to be good for Impunity despite the early game lead that they're now down on by about 1,500.
Yeah, and this was a necessary take coming in from Impunity. They need some way to try and get some gold funneled into one of these carries. I'd like to see it thrown into that mid lane, but of course it's always a difficult task against an Azir with all the wave clear he can have. But if there is ever an opening, that mid tower just instantly dies, right? Because you throw down Rift Herald, and you also, of course, have the explosive or satchel charge coming in from the Ziggs that can execute a turret when it gets low, or maybe they even just move the Ziggs into one of these side lanes to try and take advantage of it.
Well, let's see, because you need 2 on the turret plating, as I think Gory was angling for the ulti there as the satchel charge brings him into turret, and Apex with a good trade back. 2 on the turret plating for satchel charge to take effect, so it is a significant amount more than the Herald, but at the very least, you're right. Apex has the opportunity to kind of break open one of these turrets. But
And
now, Bury's doing it again. God. Thanks for the steal. Alex a little bit slow on the smite, and he wanted to give it over to his mid laner, but Bury once again comes in to be a nuisance, and they just keep doing this. I mean, PSG's jungler right now is different, Alex. As Gory on top of the blast cone, the ulti out, and that's what I know Gory for.
Just goes for the play. And, but look, okay, he might be a little bit hard.
Maybe he doesn't care. Chilling Smite comes through, and enchant across the arrow from downtown. Annex might even hit a Nara on the top side, but of course, he's a little bit further back in the lane. So that one comes in, and all I can say is that PSG trying new things out. Annex has flash. He flashes late, almost dies to Unified. I just, yeah, that was just not good.
It's not the finest look coming in from Impunity. Yesterday, we saw them really struggle down in that bot side. Of course, that was well planned out dives coming in from J-Team this time around. It's really just, again, the oppression coming in from this mid-jungle 2v2. PSG, they've really played well around mid-priority. Bury constantly going in for invades, either finding more vision onto Alex or just trying to be just a giant nuisance. And that's also the power of the Poppy, right? Every time she walks into your jungle, because there's so many walls, there's no safe place to play around in your own jungle.
I mean, just setting up for his mid laner further to your mid-jungle 2v2 point. Bury has been helping out Gory with the lane, and Gory right now 20 CS up. He's pushed away Apex, who doesn't have teleport to get here. So mid is going to be pushed up against the wall once again. Impunity have to walk into this river that is so well watered by PSG. You got to give them props for one of the best teams in the league, actually the best team in the league, as Arrow comes through and misses. You know, they're once again holding their reputation, and throughout all lanes here, it's a stomp over Impunity. They have so much individual experience of their own, like Alex, Apex, Annex. These 3 have been around LMS, LPL in the past, and they're people who should be doing better than they are right now in this game, but are getting classed by some of the newer faces within the league.
And Gory, okay,
that's a nice combo. Into the wall, the artificial one, but still, it's a great little E here from Bury. As Gory sends him backwards, PSG with the second kill, and this is starting to look like a big stomp. But Kyan with the knock-up again. Annex just stands over it. Was Tahm Kench out when he was in his prime? I don't know. The flash tongue lash comes through as the heroic charge is close enough. Yusin flashes off cooldown again. And Nightstar, this one just feels donezo.
Definitely not a great look for Impunity right now. Even forced to throw down the Rift Herald as it's timing out, most likely. And they don't even get any plates off of that. So it's just, all in all, PSG come out with a massive victory. And for Impunity, there's just no coordination. They've kind of picked the scaling or mid-game sort of draft here, and as they're about to hit some of their power spikes, they don't look like they're ready to really try and fight. And that's an issue, because this team does need a little bit of coordination to utilize their full wombo potential.
That's the combo here from PSG's mid-jungle, though. This is what we've seen quite a lot in the LPL too. It's the Azir Poppy into the Emperor's Divide. And I just have to say, like, does Annex not see that? Is there a spectator bug? Because every single time Abyssal Dive has come through, Annex or Yusin have just stood on top of it. Like it's, and you know, you were saying before, I'm sorry, this is only game 1 and I'm a little bit tilted already, but Impunity, like, these names mean so much to me. As Hanabi is about to go on a Mega Knight, Jackpot needs to back away. As Hanabi may have found the jackpot, and I mean that quite literally. What I was about to say is that You know, these players shouldn't be getting hand stiff right now, but they are. It's not even coordination. It's individual skill as Gory goes a bit too deep and has to flash. Chan across the arrow, a nice try here. And getting away from the tilt for the time being, a 3k gold lead from PSG. This hand stiff throughout each and every lane has netted 2 bounties. Look at Hanabi stomping Jackpot, giving him a warm welcome to the PCS.
Alex, he's just going to get choked out too.
Has flash. Should be okay, and interrupt the Furry's ultimate before he can get anywhere nearby. So Alex gets out, but that means he's once again threatened from his own jungle and has to rely on his bottom lane to just help him get Gromp and potentially the blue.
And he's going to smite here, but it means that he doesn't have smite for this mini objective. And Furry just goes ahead, seals it away. Easy does it. 3 minutes until Dragon, so you're not worried about, oh, I smited blue, now I don't have it for Dragon. That's not going to be an issue, and Bury just continues, really just 1v2, knowing that, hey, Gory can join if I need him, but for the most part, it's about just continuing to deny Apex more and more CS. They even pulled Jackpot down from the top lane to maybe fish for a play, and it's just not there. So all in all, PSG just continue to really work the lane phase. As long as these towers remain up, PSG are just slowly choking the life out of Impunity.
But at least for Impunity, like making that move from Jackpot on the top side with the extended top lane, at least they're trying to do something, right? Like they're not just sitting on their back, being inactive. Right now, we do get that one-item power spike you're talking about. Annex is close by as well with the Immortal Shield Bow on this Ashe, but PSG still continue to take objectives around them. They're 2 dragons up. You also pulled it out before. We are close to the 3rd dragon. The 2nd Herald goes to them too. There's objective bounties for Impunity, and this kind of feels like I'm watching PSG from Spring versus, Impunity from Spring at this point. It might be a much better roster, but against PSG, it is looking so one-sided, and people at home might be like, oh, it's only a 5k gold lead, but at 17 minutes, Alex has not had one single setup of an engage. Bury has been running the jungle, even wasting time in brushes because he can, and he's not down on CS. And every single lane is up at least 20. 60 CS in the mid lane. There's 40 CS in the bottom lane. Almost a second item for Unified before Annex has his first. Like, here's Herald. There goes the turret. There's red buff gone. It's burning and it's not fine.
There is not much left for Impunity to collect, even on their own side of the map, right? They're losing their buffs. That's just how much threat has been applied by the side of PSG, and it's just Impunity. Where's the flip? When are you going to make a stand, right? At some point, you need to figure it out, because the Ashe isn't going to... Yes, the range is nice against an Aphelios, but you're not going to start out-damaging the Aphelios Azir anytime soon. Your only hope, once it gets to that later portions of the game, is just maybe Jackpot is able to get access to the backline. Maybe Apex just finds a 5-man Mega Inferno Bomb, but those are small saving graces. You need to find some way, shape, or form to flip just a small advantage back into your side.
But you were saying in draft, and this is another one of my concerns, is that for Impunity, you know, this Ziggs, like, look at all the tools that PSG have to get onto the backline. There's Hanabi, there's Bury, there's Gory, there's Unified, there's Kaiwing, and I say Unified because he has a Gale Force. He is the least proactive member to gap close that Ziggs, but it'll still happen. So for PSG, the tools are there, and, you know, we're going to continue singing their praises until we see one of these picks come out. Now, Annex has the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, but refuses to fire it out as PSG are soloing the 3rd dragon, thanks to their vision control, thanks to everyone from Impunity showing on mid with the top lane at top. And Gory's like, okay, if you're all mid, while we're doing dragon, I'm also going to push this, and the macro could not be cleaner from our defending champions, from our spring champions, I should say.
Yeah, and look at the ward coverage in this, or mid-side area. You have so many red wards just invested in making sure there is no flank angle onto their backline. So that's why Unified is able to play that far forward, knowing that there's no possible way Jackpot comes in with the teleport and comes in and tries to surprise them with the flank. And Wing Unified playing very far forward. Of course, he had the Tom Ken. And the other issue is, even if you do land the arrow onto Unified, he has a cleanse. So, Annex, he's trying to figure out what to do with this Ashe ultimate, but his only target really is just Gory.
Okay, well, speaking of Gory, this is a nice little setup for the pick, but the slide and glide out means that Gory's no longer a target. Alex didn't even burn the ulti there, and I've only seen that Wukong ult once so far here, Nightstar. Still
that was a runaway.
Like yeah, a bit of a runaway. I mean, look, you know, Gory might still get out, but I'm not sure the last time I saw, outside of maybe Gory in mid lane, when was the last time we saw a flash that was defensive from PSG in this game?
Yeah, it's all the flashes have been channeled forward, and even then, it's not like PSG have been forced into a situation where they needed a flash. Look, Bury once again gets another buff. I think for the side of Impunity, they've only gotten maybe 3 buffs this entire game. It's been a rough ride for Alex in this jungle, and a part of that again has just been sort of Apex losing a lot in this mid lane, and once that mid lane tower goes down so early, a lot of your jungle is just up for grabs for the other team. And for the side of PSG, they've really just said, thank you very much, we'll just continue to invade time and time again, make sure you don't get any XP here.
Also makes it easier as Jennifer Farah comes through. Okay, setting up the pick, and now Alex with the Cyclone. Well, the damage will come through if they get another knockout. They don't, and CP comes through. Unified is frontlining with Wing joining in. The Needleworkers Jackpot stands his ground, but that Devour is free low at this point. Bye-bye, Mr. Jackpot. Hanabi with the ult into the wall. It's only a one-man, but it's clean, as Houston doesn't even get to burn the flash. Impunity get destroyed again. 5-0. Unified surviving the Mega Inferno bomb. And with a 8K gold lead, this is still a perfect game from our spring champs.
PSG just really milking the map right now. Find that pick. I mean, they just kind of punish the side of Impunity, searching for a pick on the Poppy, which is just too tanky at this stage in the game because they just don't have any damage. It's not necessarily the Poppy is that tanky, which, you know, to a certain degree she is, but they just can't get in range to actually throw down any damage onto that champion. And even Hanabi, he just goes forward, knowing that, again, there's no risk. If he overextends himself, what are they going to do? Burst him? That's not happening. So he just goes forward and kills the support for free.
Well, we got a minute 30 until PSG looks towards Dragon Soul, though, and as I said before, a perfect game still stands. Impunity struggling in this game, but look, let's be real with Ziggs, with Gwen. We can see how the hope is brewed. But at this point, I'm not willing to talk about it. I'm not willing to ask you, Nightstar, as to how Impunity comes back into the game, because we have seen nothing successful so far, and we have constantly seen PSG set up for opportunities. Houston still has the flash available. Unified tries to poke him down, but Wing not setting up for the engage. Instead, they sit in the mid wave. They continue to slaughter these minions to gain more priority and set themselves up for the Dragon Soul so early on at the 24-minute mark.
And it's not a bad soul either, right? They're going to get Hextech Soul, and that is... Man, that is so impressive. You get tagged by one of those sand soldiers, you're just slow to oblivion. And then it's just so much sticking power. With a Gnar, with a Poppy, that's probably one of the worst things. And all of a sudden, Unified, one of his greatest weaknesses on this Aphelios is, of course, getting kited out. That's not going to be an issue either. So this is pretty much the game on the line for the side of Impunity. If they drop this, that's problematic. That's why you see them try and make a concerted effort into this river area, but now they're stuck.
Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. Hanabi's in! That's easily done. We've got a good hostile takeover, but when I say good at this point, it doesn't matter. Still a perfect game, as Hanabi was closest to dying, but you saw that flank coming through. He used the flash aggressively, and all of a sudden, Impunity are right back where they started.
Yeah, Impunity, they understood what they needed to do. Unfortunately, they didn't understand how to do it. And also just being so far behind, you're just giving up way too much ground. You needed to find a way to flip the game much earlier. But unfortunately for the side of Impunity, they just didn't pull the trigger.
Well, what's new? This game has been so lopsided. I mean, it's a funny way to start considering you and I had a discussion in our little rehearsal before, and Nights Up, we were like, today looks like a really competitive day in the PCS. Like, we have close matches. This could have been one of them with what we saw yesterday from PSG versus Meta Falcon team. But as they come back and, you know, have essentially had back-to-back games with finishing with MFT yesterday, starting with Impunity today, I mean, this is a completely different PSG. The Poppy pick has given them so much agency. I feel like Bury needs to be commended for the early game, and Gory through the laning phase too. And throughout even the rest of the lanes here, Alex hasn't been able to do a thing, and is 0-0-0 for a reason. He hasn't been in a lane all game, and you know, I think Alex deserves a bit of criticism in the same vein.
Yeah, certainly. He hasn't been able to find an angle to try and just go for a flip. At a certain point, you have to make a stand.
Is it a flip? Is it really a flip?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's not a flip anymore, but Bury, goodbye, Jungler.
Yeah, he flashes in. Mega Inferno Bomb was a good attempt, but Smite still exists. And I love the ult coming through from Bury. Baron down. An 11k gold lead brewing. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're a PSG fan right now, you like what you see because you're seeing strength throughout all parts of the game. I think Nightstar, this is their strongest game of the split so far.
Absolutely. Bury, he just...
Oh, no. Oh,
God. Is unrelenting. Man. Oh, no way!
Oh, God. All right. Go next. I can't do it anymore. Oh, my God.
He's not even allowing them to have, like, one of those simple cheese sandwiches. He's just saying, no. I'm taking the cheese out of your sandwich, too.
It's just bread. What's the point?
Yeah. I'm taking the bread, too. I'm leaving you with the crust.
Well, look, let's be real. At this point, I don't even think Impunity have been given the crust. I think the toast is there as Unified just walks up from the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. And Impunity just have to go, what can we put in at this point? Jackpot running forward and Unified still with everything up and available. The poke is too much. Apex is hit for half HP with Annex not even being the main target. That was the secondary passive from Infernum as Alex once again can't get out, and PSG in 27-minute fashion are looking to set this game in order. This has just been beautiful from start to finish, and Nightstar, even if it's only double inhibitor now, I mean, Jackpot going forward with the Ghost, looking for something. The meterwork's in, Kaiwing's interrupted, PSG can turn this around. Jackpot knows that as Bailout comes through, as Unified don't miss it, but Harnabees doesn't. That's a bit of a wombo setup as Hostile Takeover says hello to the minions, and Unified continues pressing. Still undefeated in this game. 9-0 as Harnabees starts auto-attacking, running into the fountain, the first kill denied. Unified jumping forward, 10-0, Bury ulting into the Nexus. PSG are gonna get a perfect game. Gory almost ruining that for me as he kites away, goes golden, but Impunity have been perfect game by PSG Talon.
J-Team almost did it against Impunity yesterday, but PSG will be the ones to actually do it. Perfect game coming in from them, and it was really just perfect start to finish. They didn't have the perfect game, of course, but